If you remember, the fold animation was a duration of 500 frames. If I close this down and I drag my leaf, again, it folds up over 500 frames and dies. So we want the leaf to be green and vibrant through the first maybe 240 frames of its life, and at this point it starts to die at around frame 300. So to keep this behavior consistent, let's go in and again back to frame 1 here, and let's work at the color shift. So I'm actually going to start all three colors green and the positions of those colors at their current scalar slot. So I'll just copy the green for both of these, and I'll just vary it a little bit. Okay, so let's key all of those. In this case, I can actually key the contents of these guys. Like so. And over the first 300 frames, maybe we get a small little color shift over time. So if I drag ahead to about frame 240, I may get some colors changing as things happen. You know, maybe a hot summer, wet summer causes the leaves to become more green, less green, maybe tinted a little bit. Okay, so maybe we have that kind of a transition. Maybe there's even a little bit of color shift as well too in the positions. Maybe just a slight amount. So I'll key those as well. But as the season progresses, we're going to want some yellow to appear from the center and grow outwards towards the edges. So this is going to involve animating the color and the position moving closer to a value of 1. So if I just go the extreme, well actually we'll do one in between here. I'll take my shader around this point here where the leaves are going to really start to yellow, and at this point the leaves would have become quite yellow in the middle. There we go there. And as I move outwards, that's the wrong one. Let's actually use this one right here. I'm starting to get maybe some oranges. It's moving outwards as well, the position of that value there. Key them all. And then make sure that we can kind of reduce this. So let's see, early on here, we'll actually keep this kind of yellow here. There we go. And maybe the first position is actually starting to go ready. So we're getting this decay happening here. At this point, the green would not really be green, so I'm going to start transitioning that to a kind of a yellowish color. Key those positions as well. Let's just keep watching our transition here. The center now is going to start turning more red, and it might even be growing outwards a little bit, so I'll pull that position outwards to about 0.314. I'll key those. The outer rim here will be, or the second rim will actually be starting to go a bit more orange, so we'll transition that. And this green outer layer here is definitely starting to become yellowish as well, and growing outwards. So we'll key all of these. So we got our nice yellow, green, and again we're going back towards a bright, vibrant leaf here. Okay, so by the time we reach this point, the middle of the leaf is going to start really getting into a brown, so I'll start taking the mid leaf here and take that red all the way down into the darks. It's probably going to spread out quite far, so I'm going to move it out to about 0.51, and you don't really see the update in the graph until you actually play back. The middle color here, color 2, I'll set to more of a red color, a brilliant kind of fall red. And the second color is more trending to orange now. So I'll key those. And finally, at the end frame, we want everything to have transitioned to the browns of dead leaves. So first position, set that. Second position, definitely coming into the dark dead colors, and third position finally is dull as well. Okay, so we get a pretty interesting transition for our leaf based on color, and if we now blend that back in with our original texture, we've got a pretty neat effect that's working that will obviously transcribe back into the ice tree. So I'll jump back into my material manager, select my leaf material, and let's work with the result by taking the mix two colors and our shader and looking at how it all blends together. So as I move towards the end, I get a pretty dead leaf. I could even animate the mix two colors as well, because the color stays a little bit too green. So at the beginning, sure, that's great. We want a lot of green tinted into our leaf color, so I can actually key the weight here. For the first 240 frames, maybe we keep that color. And again, as we start transitioning, we go more into a yellow, into the reds, oranges, and then into the definite browns. Alright, so again, that looks pretty decent. Okay, so our effect is completed, and of course the neat thing about this is that the timeline, all of the animation is on this leaf. So the ice tree that has the control instance animation, if I select my point cloud and I jump back into the ice tree, you'll notice that the control instance animation is also set to take 500 frame sequence, whatever that animation might be on my leaf geo. I could go into my material manager and try cleaning up my shader a little bit more. See, what I actually need to do now, though, is jump back into the shader compound. You remember that we've actually been setting the colors on our 2D gradient, the single color inputs, but we still have these 3D clouds that need their colors passed to them, the animation. So I'm going to look at kind of using color 1's color value and distributing it to these color 1, 2 with some variation. So that'll be our next task. And then we'll clean up our shader, export it as a final, and we can move forward.